Hello again, my friends. I hope you're doing well. So today I would like to talk about crankshaft position sensors and how they are used. Basically, you need two components. You will need a sensor and a missing tooth wheel. So here we have a 36 teeth wheel with one missing tooth here. And when you see this hole on these type of wheels, it's basically here to counterbalance the missing tooth here. So when it's rotating, it is balanced. So the way this works basically is that you would mount your sensor here. We'll talk about the type of sensors that's used for this purpose, but let me show you very quickly how it's mounted. So it's mounted like this, vertical on it, and as this wheel rotates with this missing tooth, the sensor and the software know that there is one missing tooth every 36 teeth. So this is how it finds out the location of your TDC, your top dead center, and where is the position, the optimal position to fire your spark plugs and squirt fuel in your cylinders. So this is basically how it works, just two components. And I want to show you an example of how it's mounted. So here I mounted on the same flywheel where I have my ring gear. This is an adapter plate that I cut using the service Send. They are not the fastest, but they provide good quality products, so I like them. I'm not sponsored or anything, but if you have access to a plasma table in your shop, then you can do all this stuff on your own, no problems. Back to this. So there is two types of sensors that can accomplish this. The first one, and my favorite, and the one that I use all the time, is Hall sensor. And the way the Hall sensor works is that there is a small magnet here. Let me show you that it's magnetic. Here I have a Canadian nickel, and as you can see, there is a magnet. And behind this magnet is a semiconductor, and this semiconductor will tell if there is a magnetic object passes by this magnet or not. So the way this works is that you have here this red wire here will go to your switched 12 volt, and then you have this black wire goes to ground, and then this white wire here will be your signal. This is what's going to tell your computer the signal about where is the missing tooth, hence telling you the location of your crank. And it's very simple. These wheels, I always buy them and maybe turn them on my mini lathe to open them up a little bit to fit my application if my shaft is bigger. And they are very convenient. You don't need to weld anything. Basically, I use JB Weld or any strong epoxy, and that's how I mount them, because there is no load on them or anything. It's just the sensor is just floating on the top of it like that, and it's just a reference, guys. So you don't need to go crazy with welding and machining and stuff like that. In this application here, JB Weld did the job, and I know there is no load on this wheel here whatsoever, and it works just fine. With that, I also want to tell you about the other type of sensor. The other type of sensor is called VR sensor, and VR stands for variable reluctance. And variable reluctance basically is a magnet and a coil, and every time and the VR sensor actually have two wires, not three wires. And it doesn't need to be powered, because basically it's like a magnet, and every time the wheel passes by the VR sensor, it just gives it changes the reluctance in two wires, and it just sends the signal this way. Why I'm not using it? It is a simpler device. I'm talking about the VR sensor now. The VR sensor is a simpler device, and it doesn't need external source of power. but to me it's kind of a bit risky because they are not consistent. For some reason, that's what my tests showed me, that they are not as consistent as Hall effect sensors, and these are just easier to use. And I connect my red wire here not to the 5 volts coming out of my ECU, but to the 12 volt straight. So that's basically how I use them, and it worked just fine. And when I connect this white wire to my ECU and test them, I get very nice, clean, square signal. So that tells me that this sensor is doing its job. With that, thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.